guys, it's me, Alia, and right now I am beyond excited to talk to you guys about the newest episode of the season 5 premiere of Teen Wolf. Firstly, I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys, but I am a huge Teen Wolf fan and I have been watching it since the very beginning. The last season was a little bit hard to keep up with since I had just started college, but I promise to stay on top of this season, and I'm very excited to see the cast's senior year of high school. So, the episode begins with Lydia in this creepy ward type of place. She's taking a shower, and then she walks back to her room, and then this weird doctor's touching her all weird and giving her shots in her body, and then he's gonna give her one in her neck, and then she screams, and then Homegirl turns into a freaking boss, starts kicking everybody's butt and having some type of force energy stuff, and I'm just like, Lydia, Homegirl, when did you turn into such a boss? I mean, we all knew Lydia was a boss, but guys, she was a boss, all caps boss, so I'm proud of her. She almost broke out, and then when she was outside, she saw Aiden, and it distracted her, and then they tasered her and brought her back into her room. But Homegirl was being a straight-up capital BOSS. When she gets back in there, before they put her under again, she says that she needs to warn her friends because they're going to die, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is this going to mean? But then we go back in time, and we see Scott and Styles talking about college plans, what's going to happen, where they're going to live. They mentioned the East Bay, and I was just like, that's my town, East Bay. That's where I live right now. But yeah, and so while they're outside, Scott begins to talk about how for the past few months things have just been normal. They haven't been really good, they haven't been really bad, but they've been in the middle. And Deacon had mentioned something to him that there's always going to be a time where things are really good, really bad, or they're flat in the middle. So they've been in the middle for quite a while, so things are about to get really bad or really good. And guess what, guys? Things are going to get bad because it's Teen Wolf, and that's just what happens. But when they're talking about this, we see Liam has been chained up to a tree because it's full moon, and last full moon, apparently he was running around butt naked doing weird wolfy stuff, so they had to chain him up this time, but then they let him down so that they could go to their senior Scribe, senior Scribe I think it was called. But yeah, they get there at the end, and it ends up being really sweet, but I want to save that moment for the end. At the police station, we see Officer or Deputy Parrish, who, if you guys remember, he has powers, but he's stuck doing paperwork, answering phones, doing lame stuff, and he goes to Stilinski about it, and he asks for something bigger, so Stilinski sends him on a noise complaint, and that noise complaint ends up being more than just a noise complaint, because Parrish gets down into the house, which is pretty much empty, and he goes down to the basement, and he hears something behind the wall, so he gets this tool and he starts to break the wall, and then something I guess it's blood or something spills out of the wall, and then a giant wolf man appears out of nowhere, and it's just like, what? And then he starts attacking Parrish, and their eyes glow, and the wolf realizes that Parrish is something, but he's not a wolf, so he goes ahead and scratches him with his glowing claws. I was like, what? And they were huge, people, not normal claws, they were gigantic, and they were glowing, and he scratched Parrish, and then he ran away. But before he ran away, he asked for Scott McCall, and they always want Scott because Scott is literally the alpha. So going back with the boys, Styles, Scott, and Liam, we see that they're driving, and then their phone stopped working, and then the car stops working, so they go and look under the hood, and Scott asks Styles if he has any tools, and Styles pulls out duct tape, and I'm just like, yes, duct tape, that is the way to go, people. It's cheap, it's efficient, and it works temporarily. So, but while they're stopped, Liam sees I don't know exactly what he saw, but he saw something in the background. He started getting freaked out, and then there was like a strike of lightning, and then the car started again, and it was just like, okay. Then they went on their way to the school where they're headed for their senior scribe. At the McCall household, Melissa's just getting in from work, and she's talking to what she thinks is Scott, but what is actually an empty space, about how she's home, she's leaving, there's dinner in the fridge, but then she looks in the fridge and there's no food, so she said she'll give him money for food, but then she's like, I don't have any money, and it's just like a never-ending thing. Then she realizes that Scott's not even there and that she's talking to herself, and she sees a note on the fridge that says something about the senior scribe at the school. So she's like, okay, but in the background, the creepy wolf man is there with his glowing fingers looking for Scott. And I'm just like, please don't hurt Melissa, because she's my girl. He doesn't, thankfully, but yeah. When Kira is on her way to the school, she's trying to get a signal on her phone because it's raining, there's a storm, there's traffic, it's just all bad. And when she's outside, she sees a very handsome boy who, my friends, is Arya's little brother from Pretty Little Liars, just putting it out there. Very attractive, Mike on PLL. On the show, his name is Theo, but Theo, we don't find his name till later, but I'm just saying it now. Theo is standing in the street. He looks at Kira. He's like, oh, my phone's not working either. But our boy Theo is going to have much, much more relevance later in the episode. Scott ends up leaving Styles, Liam, and Malia, who they picked up, to go find Kira because they heard about the traffic and he wants to bring her to the school in time. So first he heads home, and all the magnets in his kitchen are on the floor. They're not working. Then he turns around, and then they're back on the fridge, and then there was like an earthquake, and it's just weird stuff. So that had to do with the Scary Wolf Man. You know, they never gave him a name. They never called him anything. So I'm going to call him Scary Wolf Man until we hear something else. But I think it was his fault, possibly. Who knows? But it was lightweight creepy, y'all. We get to see what else happens to Parrish. So he's lying in that basement in the creepy house, and he's like bleeding. And then we see Lydia, and I was like, what? Like, what? I thought she was at school. We see Lydia. She walks over to him and she's like, stay awake and then listen to me. She's talking to him. Then homegirl leans in to kiss him, and then he wakes up and it's some other cops coming to rescue him. And I was just like, whoa. Whoa. First of all, if he was dreaming about Lydia, when did that become a thing? Did I miss something? I think I might have missed something, y'all, because I didn't know that was anything, really, but we'll see. Parrish is then taken into the hospital, but because he's some type of, well, we don't know what, he can heal. So he gets all glowy-eyed, and then he heals, and then he says that they need to find Scott because that's who the Scary Wolf Man was looking for. And Liam overhears him, and he runs off to the school to go and help Scott. We then see Scott riding on his motorcycle, and he's going to get Kira, and then she hears a motorcycle, she goes outside, she sees him, they run up to each other, and they kiss because they've been away from each other all summer because she was in New York, and it's kind of like a reunited moment. It's really cute. They're kissing in the rain, and it's just nice. But guys, let me just say something. I'm a very opinionated person, and I just feel as if the couples on Teen Wolf now didn't compare to the couples in the beginning. I want something more. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like with Scott and Allison, it was just so much. Maybe it was the history, and you can't change history, but I just felt like there was so much in that relationship. But they will only grow as the show continues on. When Scott and Malia get to the school, they have a moment where Malia doesn't feel as if she wants to go in because she doesn't know if she's actually a senior because she was in summer school. She hasn't gotten her grades yet. And I'm just like, y'all should have got that girl her grades. She's trying to see if she's a senior or not. I mean, come on. School was pretty much probably, I don't know. It's probably the next day, so they need to let her know. But she didn't want to go in because she didn't know if she was a senior or not. And then Styles was anxious about how he found out that his father is no longer friends with any of his friends from high school. And he just wants the gang to stay together forever. And I can understand that. I mean, I graduated last year. and I was very afraid that me and my friends wouldn't stay in contact. But it's a year later, and we're stronger than we were before. Sounds corny, but it's true. So shortly after Scott and Kira get to the school, the scary wolf man finds them, and they begin to do a duel. And Kira's freaking belt turned into a sword, guys. She just whipped it out, and I was like, well, dang, how do you not cut yourself? It's cool, but they're all fighting, and then there's another wolf that shows up, and we're just like, whoa, where did you come from? And he starts helping out Scott against the scary wolf man, and then the wolf man sticks his claws into Scott, and everyone shows up because Liam warned Styles and Malia. He warned them, so they're all showing up, and then they see the scary wolf man's claws and Scott, and then Scott turns all boss alpha, true alpha, on him, and he ends up breaking the guy's arm, I'm pretty sure, and then he breaks his claws, and I was just like, whoa. Because, guys, honestly, I don't feel like we've seen Scott's alpha abilities to the full extent, and I really want to, because we know that Peter could turn into a freaking a monster type thing, so I really want to see what Scott is like. So the new wolf ends up being the guy Theo, who we saw earlier, and we find out that he actually knows Scott and Styles from elementary school, and he wants to be in the pack because he's a lone wolf, and he heard about the true alpha Scott, and he wants to be a part of the pack, which I think is really cool. But they didn't really say anything more about that afterwards. But then we find out Malia is officially a senior, and then all the seniors go into the library for the senior Scribe event, I guess. And what happens is they write their initials on the library bookshelves. And so everyone's writing their initials. And after Scott writes his initial, he writes A. And at first I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, Allison. He wrote Allison Argent. And I'm just like, oh, it broke my heart, guys. Because him and Allison were one of my OTPs. I really loved them, but may she rest in peace. After Scott kicked the scary wolfman's butt, he goes back to his bosses, I guess you can say, and he's begging for another chance. He's begging for more power, and then they end up killing him because he failed once, and they're like, no second chances. And I guess they're called the Doctors. They're scary. They have masks. They're very big. They got weapons and electricity stuff. It's crazy, and I'm kind of excited to see what they want, what they're gonna do. They called Scott and his friends obstacles, so obviously they're in the way of something they want to do. That's the definition of obstacle. When they kill the scary wolfman, they stab him with a sword, right? But then these black crows or something start flying out of him, and that honestly gave me the creeps for a second because I was not expecting it. And when there are blackbirds in this show, it means something terribly bad is going to happen. After that scene, it pans back to Lydia, and apparently she's telling us a story. And she's talking to Aiden, but Aiden is not really Aiden. He's some type of doctor man. And he keeps asking her what happened to her friends. She says she doesn't remember, and then he talks about each friend. He's like, well, what happened to Kira? And she's driving off into a car. And he's like, what happened with Scott's mom? And she shows her slapping Mr. Stilinski. And it's Parrish, and his eyes are glowing, and Malia and the desert wolf, and Styles, who was in a car accident. And it's just all this stuff, and we're just like, whoa, what? And then he's like, we have a way of helping you remember, and he has a freaking drill, and he's gonna stick it into her head. And I'm just like, what is this? And what happened to them? This season is gonna be good, and I'm so excited to see them as seniors. Because honestly, I'm not hating on Teen Wolf. I love this show. But it seems like they've been in high school for a really long time. Just like in Pretty Little Liars, I'm just like, whoa, where is the aging coming in? But I'm excited to see things move along and progress and see them older and do more things. So this is the end of my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This season of Teen Wolf is going to be so good. I can already tell. Since it is the premiere of season 5, there's a 2-night episode. So one episode came on Monday night, the other one comes on Tuesday night. So I will be coming out with another video probably tomorrow on the second half of the season 5 premiere. Like I said before, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Like I said, I just hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any comments or advice or anything for me to do, hit me up, comment below. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.